And rolling. Where were we? What
Okay,
were we talking
Dan, what were we talking about?
So
We're talking
we
about
were,
mom and dad.
Yeah.
We're talking about dad, reading, everything, and they would go to the library. I mean, before they had the money to go buy books, they would go to the library. Mom read, dad read, we went to the library.
The library came to us.
And the library came to us at the bookmobile across the street. So in the summer, it came every week, so we would go to the bookmobile and you could take out as many books as you want.
You always wondered how the driver ever got in this thing. Because she was as big as the bus.
Oh, that's right, I forgot he was.
And you had to check, you went in like the back and you went out through the front to check your book out.
Right, right.
Your books out, and she would just rotate her driver's chair around and she would process the books. But she was huge. And I could never figure out how they got her in there.
But that was
That was
nice
back.
because that was before we had TV and then
Yeah.
we had something to do. We had books to read. And then, speaking, one of the questions on there was, what were your favorite gifts at Christmas?
Yeah.
And my favorite gift was a set of the children's classics. And I don't remember if I was in the 4th or 5th grade, I don't remember, somewhere around that time. So there were like The Prince and the Pauper, Heidi, Black Beauty, the Bobbsey Twins, and all those books. And it just so happened that after that I got those books for a Christmas gift, we all got the whooping cough.
Oh, yeah.
And when, like kids, when one person gets it, they all get it. So all three of us got the whooping cough. That's why we had to get a new floor, actually, because you would just cough so hard that, Mom had a big bowl sitting in the dining room.
Under the buffet.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and
hope
then
you
you were
could make it there
trying to
quick enough.
hit that, but a lot of times we didn't, and so, but anyhow, so we, were contagious, so we couldn't go to
Yeah.
school. And so we could sit, and read at night. We didn't have to get up early in the morning, and we did. We would read these books, so they came in really handy.
Yep. So were they illustrated or are they just text?
Probably they
Little
were
bit.
illustrated. They probably had pictures in it. But I remember one of them I was reading, and this is how naive we were, or I was, and I'm sure Jean was too. And they had, in one of the stories, the word damn appeared. And I'm
Hoover
reading
was in
along,
front
it
of
was like, huh?
Was Hoover in front of it?
No, Hoover wasn't in front of it. It was somebody swearing.
Oh.
And I said, oh, Gene. I said, oh my God, I bet Mom and Dad don't know we're reading this film. Yeah, I know. So, but yeah, that was fun. Oh, and we forgot the tonsils song. We all had to go
The
to the
family plan.
hospital to get our tonsils out.
Only one of us needed that, but for anyone that,
Who needed it? You?
I don't know. I don't think we all had tonsillitis at
They
the
were
same
running
time.
tonsils through like,
Yeah.
they really were. They were taking tonsils out. It was like an assembly line.
Yeah.
And the doctors would, it was an easy operation. It was
Yeah.
easy money for the doctors, so your kid gets,
But there's no
it
way
probably
that all
was
three of
you
us.
that- I know.
We're sick at the same time. Bernie just said, let's do it.
we're sick of these kids. Get them out of here.
Get rid of them for a night.
Yeah.
So Dad, they weren't gonna tell us, okay? Because back then it wasn't like, oh, you take your kid to the hospital and you say, now here, honey, this is what you're gonna, prepare you. They didn't do that. And Dad was right though, because he said, why tell them that? Because then they're gonna be all upset and worried. Just tell them when we get there. So unbeknownst to us, we're outside playing, running up and down the street. And Tom goes in the kitchen, and Mom and Dad were sitting in there, and they were talking about our hospital trip the next morning, and he overheard them.
Oh, yeah.
And so he comes and tells me and Jean, we're going to the hospital tomorrow, and we didn't know until then,
Yeah.
and we were freaking out, so Dad was right,
Yeah. You see her in grade school?
Yeah, we were
Yeah.
in grade school.
Yeah.
Probably 4th, 5th, 6th grade.
There was some girl from your class that
Kathy
was in the
Chirac.
ward. Kathy Chirac. Okay, so I would guess 3rd, 4th, and 5th. Yeah.
Something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so Dad said, Dad was good at calming you down. He really was. That was his kind of forte. And we were like, no, we don't want to go, blah, blah, blah. So he said, now this is going to be fun. Because first of all, they'll give you this real sweet stuff to smell. So you're thinking roses, you know.
Ether.
And that, yeah, ether does not smell sweet.
Right.
And then he said, then when you take your tonsils out, it'll be all over. When you wake up, they bring all the ice cream that you want. And I was like, well, it doesn't sound like too bad of a deal, you know? Smell some roses and get all the ice cream I wanted. And so the next
You
day,
couldn't swallow or talk.
you couldn't swallow it. You're right. Oh my God. I was jumping up and down, screaming. My throat hurt so bad. And they brought in this runny ice cream. It was all melted. Like, get that crap away from here. So then we also had pre-op shots and stuff. Well, then Dad said, that's it. No, you won't get any more shots. You know, you do have to spend the night just in case there'd be any kind of complications with three of us.
Yeah.
And I'm sure they were dancing their way out of the hospital that night. And so he told us that. And I thought, my dad said, went. So they came in because I had a cold. So they gave me a shot. They didn't give Gene and Tom a shot. They gave me a shot. And I said, we have to give you a shot because you have a cold. And I said, no, my dad said I don't get any more shots. No, you can't do that. Well, they did, obviously. And so then we went home and then there was silence because, like Tom said, it really hurt to talk, you know? So I'm sure that was probably one of the happiest, like 3 or 4 days in Mom's life.
Well, speaking of those shots, that's when they started giving polio shots to kids in grade school. In the mid-50s.
I remember the polio shots.
And they would walk you across the street to a doctor's
when I was
office
in
and
high
line
school,
you up.
They
All
did.
these little kids. And
They
you're
did.
watching the guy in front of you go through the door and
Right.
hear him scream.
It's like
Yeah,
cattle.
you hear him scream.
It's like cattle at the slaughterhouse.
Yeah.
But I remember being in high school, like I was a freshman, when the polio shots come out. So that would have been 1956. And you could either go to your doctor and get them, or you could go
The school
to
would
school and get them. And that's what we did. And I remember all the kids in my class didn't go. So some of them must have went to their
Private
doctors.
doctors,
Yeah. But I went.
Yeah.
And I, of course, decided to make a big show when I came back in, like, you know, like I was just dying, just for attention. But, yeah, I do remember the polio shots, and I remember in St. John's Hall getting shots too, for like booster shots or something. They really
in the
hurt.
auditorium area?
Hmm?
In the auditorium?
You're right.
I just remember going over to O'Hara's office. I think I was
Oh, you
O'Hara,
did?
right across the street for the shots.
Oh, how come you got to get your shots at O'Hara? And
Well, the
we had to-
whole class went over there.
Oh,
he was
I see.
contracted to do it.
Oh, okay, okay.
That's what, yeah, that was big stuff back then. Polio.
Polio was a big thing. That's a good thing you brought up, because I remember in the summer, parents were
Thought
just
it was a
frantic.
swimming
Yeah,
pool problem.
right, and they
Oh, yeah.
thought it was an Amish problem. So they said, don't go, some of the rumors were going around that said, don't go to, what's the one in between Uniontown and
Clearwater?
Clearwater,
Oh,
right.
cool, right.
Don't go to
Okay.
Clearwater, which we did go to Clearwater, because the Amish, that's in Amish country, they're spreading polio.
Yeah.
I mean, all kind of stupid stuff like that went around.
How did you
But
get all the
parents
way?
were, because in the summer, it seems
We
like
had to
that's what it is.
Get rides to go up there.
Oh, okay, ride with somebody with
Yeah,
a car.
somebody-
to go.
somebody-
Right, oh no, you
Parents
didn't
had a
walk
car.
up there.
Well, I
you
thought,
might-
take a 4-hour bus ride or something. It seems like a long way to go.
It is a long way to
They didn't
go.
have an intercity bus that ran up there. They were between Canton and Massillon. I think they ran up to Greentown today. I mean, to Uniontown.
No, I just had a friend whose mother would drive us up there.
Oh, okay.
But, that was every parent's biggest fear was polio.
Yeah.
It really was in the summer. It seemed like that's when, you know, that it really attacked.
I don't think we ever knew anybody that got polio.
See, I thought Colton had polio. For years, I thought that his problem was from polio.
And then whooping
You
cough.
just think of iron lungs, and you see these
Yeah.
people on iron lungs, and it's like, oh my gosh.
Mhm.
Yeah, but we had the typical childhood diseases. We had measles and mumps and whooping cough and.
They have vaccine for whooping cough now, right?
Right, nobody gets any of that stuff anymore, that's good.
How about that elixir we used to take before we went to bed? Father John's,
Father John's, right.
we'd line up in the hall and,
And like birds, and Mom would stick a spoon in our
what
mouth.
was in it?
It was some kind of a tonic. It was good, it really
Yeah.
did,
Oh.
it was real syrupy-like,
Yeah.
I mean, it was brownish and
Yeah. So
there'd
when
be
you were
like
sick.
3 birds standing there.
No, it was to keep you healthy.
Oh, okay. Every night, yeah.
Yeah, it was a dose every night.
Then we had
Maybe only in the
Astoria
winter, I
too
don't
that
know.
we took.
Spoonful of that. What
Oh,
else?
and we forgot about the coal, all the stuff we forgot about. That was the one thing Tom had to do.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, the one thing.
The one thing you had to do was get up when it was freezing
Yeah.
in the morning and go down and stoke the coal.
Yeah, shovel that in there.
Yeah. But I don't remember him doing anything else. And I even told my mom. She goes, well, Tom took the garbage out. I said, like hell he did. He didn't take the garbage out. He didn't do
Sure he
anything.
did.
You did
I
not.
went out to the garbage can outside the side
I
door.
did. Jean did. You didn't. Because maggots would be on top of the garbage thing. And they would drop off.
Yeah.
It was awful. He didn't do it. He doesn't know.
Yeah.
He was out making his own money, raking lawns and mowing grass, right?
Right.
Just gonna pay for the smokes, I guess. Right.
Paper out.
Well, I
We'd
guess his
steal-
aunt
we'd
was
steal the
giving him
cigarettes.
smokes. I don't know.
We'd steal from mom and dad when they go to bed.
Well, when we were in high school, we did, because mom and dad always went to bed after the news.
I remember starting asking dad when I was like 11 or 12 if I could smoke.
You did not.
I sure did, and he'd say, nope, you have to wait till you're 16.
You actually asked him that?
Yeah, and
Eleven?
I'd ask him like every 3 or 4 weeks.
Yeah.
And he'd keep saying.
At 11 though, Tom?
Yeah. And I'd give him that, well, my friends are.
Like
well,
in sixth
then you need
grade?
a new friend, yeah.
Yeah, get new friends,
But when I was
really.
playing football in grade school, I had cigarettes on my helmet. When we'd run up the race,
You need to not hear this about Grandpa, huh?
yeah, we carried cigarettes on our helmets back then.
Well, I just remember in high school.
Yeah.
You know, we did have we had a curfew.
Yeah.
And it applied equally, like sometimes, like Don didn't care when the boys got in with my kids.
Yeah.
But the girls, he wanted in at a certain time.
Mm-hmm.
But Dad was, everybody had to be in at like 12.
Yeah.
Even Tom. And so,
Some of us could go back out then.
sometimes, but, so we were home and they were in bed and there sat their packs of cigarettes, their Camels and their Chesterfields.
Two of the
And
strongest
stupid
cigarettes.
me that was smoking Kents and not even inhaling because my friends did, you know. I thought this is ridiculous. If I'm gonna smoke, by God, I'm
Do it
gonna learn
right.
how to do it right. I'm gonna learn how to inhale. And so me and Tom would sit, they didn't count their cigarettes. And Tom would complain about, if I ever have kids, I should have told you, if I ever have kids, they're gonna stay out as late as they want, as long as they don't get in trouble. As long as they don't do anything wrong, they can stay out this is stupid, coming home at this
Well,
time.
That
How
might
did
be
that
true
work
if
out
you
for
never
you
got in
guys?
trouble, but how are you gonna not get in trouble if you stay out that late?
Well, Mom said nothing good can come of being out after 12 o'clock.
Yeah.
Anybody that's out that late's gotta be doing something wrong.
And so,
And so the phone rings at 2 o'clock in the morning from the Massillon jail.
Yeah.
Oh, that's right, it was for you. And we were closest to the steps, so, you know, we could hear the phone ring. And I don't even know who went downstairs to answer the phone. But Gene was upset because he was an embarrassment to the family.
Yeah.
And it's the Massillon jail calling. So Dad got up and had to go get Tom out of the Massillon jail with got some of his buddies out too, huh?
That's right.
This
Don't
one
listen
you
to
were,
this shit.
this one you're in the paper about?
Yeah.
Yeah. So,
Some
you know,
woman
in
from
my,
California told him about it.
well, in my,
No,
no, in my extensive research, I turned up the article. I'll send you the article.
No, I believe you, honey.
Yeah. Yeah, so you can read the actual.
You would
write-up.
think that would be like eradicated. I mean, it's just
No,
a
it's out-
stupid.
It's out there. It's funny, this lady from California.
It's like emails, they never
I
ever,
know,
you can never
was-
get rid of them.
She's like, I found something in my.
I don't know if I
you
should
know."
tell you.
But you know what it was? It was your Uncle Tom rear-ended somebody.
Okay.
And I'm like, oh, that's nothing. I thought you found your other story. But
So did you get in trouble from Vern?
No, actually,
no.
from the way you said it, I'm really surprised at how that worked out. I mean, he'd have a lot of gall saying something to you, disturbing your peace and everything.
Yeah, no, nothing ever came of it. Prost
Judge
talked
called.
us out of it, we talked the judge out of it, because he was.
But you still had to have a parent come for you to get you out of there, right?
Yeah, we had to get bailed out.
Right.
Yeah, we did that.
wasn't
And
that
did he
in,
get a couple of your
He
friends
got-
out too?
He got Becker out, and I think maybe Renswick, because Renswick's dad wanted him to stay in jail all night.
Oh, to teach him a lesson,
Yeah.
huh?
But that was in what, 1964 or something, right?
Yeah, we were freshmen.
You were out.
Yeah, you were out of high school.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, at least you were disturbing the peace in Massillon. Not
Yeah.
Kent.
You don't even have the peace over in Massillon, right?
That's right.
And then, of course, the cars, pushing the car down the road and taking her for a joyride. And I was I was just a basket case. And I'm like, what if they come downstairs? What am I gonna say? The cars, oh, they're not gonna come downstairs. Well, Dad won, because
Yeah.
once he was asleep, nothing could wake him up. But
So you-
she woke up real easy.
You were on the ride, or you just, you're an accomplice because you.
She was a lookout.
I was an accomplice because I was
By
not
default.
ready to go to bed,
Yeah.
and he decided to take the car, and I'm like, no, don't do it, don't do it. What am I gonna say? Mom comes downstairs. Oh, she's not gonna come downstairs. Well, that's a terrible answer.
It worked.
Never happened, huh? Yeah.
The better one was when Hobby and I stole his dad's car.
That was
And
so.
We were, I don't know,
sad.
freshmen or something. Neither one of us could see her.
You were not a freshman. You were younger than that.
Maybe 8th grade, I don't know. Anyway, his dad found out.
His
that
mother
we
was
took it,
taking a nap, and he
and-
came over to our house. It
And
was
he just
summertime.
beat the hell out of Joe. And
Did he?
Yeah, he drug him over to the house and knocked on our door, and we were eating dinner.
We were, and I
Yeah.
remember Tom's like,
And Bernie goes to this door, and
yep.
his dad, Mac Hobby,
Oh, I didn't know his dad, but
Yeah.
I know he came to the door.
and said, "You know what your son did?" And so Bernie called me to the door. He and Joe took my car for a joyride. Blah, blah. Dad, you do that? Yeah. And Joe's all beat up and crying, and
Oh, no, he had Joe with him.
oh yeah, because he drug him down,
Beat the
hit
crap
him
out of him,
all
huh?
the way down the street. And Bernie said, "Okay, I'll deal with it." And he was waiting for, old man Hobby was waiting to see Bernie beat me
see
up
some
there.
action.
Yeah, and Bernie said, "I'll just handle it. Don't worry about it." And he never hit me over that one.
See, now, isn't that weird? I mean, the stuff he did hit you over
Well, you can't
was
have some other guy tell you what to do to your own kid, right?
Well, maybe
little
that
stubborn.
had something to do with it. Because the guy across the street also come over and told Dad that Tom broke a bottle in his alley. And Tom said he did. And Dad said, Tom, tell me the truth and I will back you up. But don't lie to me. You have to tell me the truth. And I was like, oh, I hope that's the truth, that he didn't do it. Because you said you did. I don't know, was it the truth or not? I would have lied if I had to. And,
After I saw what happened to you,
Yeah, you learned Jackson.
oh my gosh. And then Dad would say, I don't know what set him off. He would say, okay, well, this was for Tom. And he would say, okay, go get me the ruler in the dining room to hit Tom with. And we would be like, well, we can't find it. But what was he wanted to hit you for? I mean, you never mouthed off. You weren't bratty. I don't know. I just,
he used to send me upstairs to find his belt. I can't find
I
it.
know, I'm right.
Yes, you can.
Yeah, you know where it's at. You're not fooling me. I just don't understand that because, like, I was telling Don one time and I was like, I don't understand. Tom never was disrespectful. He never mouthed off to either one of them.
He
And
just knew I got away with stuff that he didn't know about, so he figured we were square.
Yeah,
Yeah.
even it up.
But he did bring up some really interesting subjects, I have to say, he really did. He would get us, and of course we knew nothing at all about physics, but he had just read something on general relativity or whatever.
Okay, yeah.
And that's what, I didn't know that then, but I just thought he just knew all this stuff magically. And he would stand there over the register with his hands behind his back, and because he was always cold, and we'd be in there. Now, what do you think happens if you go close to the speed of light? Now, do you think if you have a watch on, what do you think happens? The watch stays the same, or does it change? And we're like, no.
Our watches didn't
You
work
are
that
no, nobody had a watch yet.
Yeah,
Yeah. But that was fascinating stuff, And you know that the faster you age, the faster you move, the slower you age.
Yeah.
And we're like, no, that's not true. Yes, it is.
So he was
He
a
was
student.
just a fountain of knowledge.
He was a student of theology as well. Didn't they have like religious group sessions at their home?
They
and
did,
would have
because after
debate?
Vatican II, they were trying to get people away from the, pre-Vatican thinking. It didn't work too well. A lot of them just didn't come back because he was like, he was ahead of his time on that. But religion was important to him, and that was one of the questions in there. But he was really reading up on, what was going on in the church, what modern theologians were discussing. So
yeah, he's interested in the discourse on it. And,
Well, he'd
and
talk
the
about
evolution
anything.
yeah, he would.
He
He
would
would talk
talk
about
any
anything.
subject.
Right. And he could talk on
Yeah,
it.
nothing was taboo to him. Doesn't matter, he could take either side
Yeah.
of most arguments too. If you thought you knew something, you had it nailed, he would twist it around and say, huh?
He's the devil's
And he
advocate.
also did not like you to speak in generalities because he just hated that. Like if you would come home and you would say, oh, we went to this event and what's wrong? Oh, there must have been like 1 million people there. He'd be like, 1 million people? He would just like literally, you don't know 1 million people. There's no way it was 1 million people. And anything that you talked about, like in generalities, he would say, he would call you on it right away. Because he didn't want you to shoot your mouth off about what you didn't know, what you were talking about. I'm not, at the time, it hurt my feelings, but I'm glad now that he did do that.
Yeah.
You never referred to your mom as she.
Oh, I know, she's the cat's mother. That's what he would say. You don't call your mother she, she's the cat's mother. Well, I don't call the cat's mother she either, but that's what he said. Yeah, he was real big on respect for mom,
Yeah.
even though he didn't always treat, yeah, exactly.
Somebody had to do it.
Yeah, we were gonna be treating her with respect. They used to be, in the Reader's Digest, they used to have this one column that was like titled, the most interesting person, one of the most interesting people I have ever met. And I often thought that Dad would be a good candidate for
Put
that
him in
column.
there, huh? Yeah.
Because he was so unpredictable and never knew how he was going to react. When you think he'd be mad, he wouldn't be. Like the jail thing with Tom.
You know, the more serious it got, the cooler he would get.
I know. But
But it
little
was trivial,
stupid
he
stuff
kicked
like, like, the cap off the toothpaste thing. He would just like blow, you couldn't find his pen.
Yeah.
Well, I came home one night after a few drinks, and I had locked myself out or didn't have a key, so I was going to put the ladder up on the back.
I know
porch
Brensler was telling us that
to
story.
get up and wake you guys up to get in.
Yeah, that green
It's right-
chair that on the.
It's right below Mom and Dad's window. and
Right.
Halfway up the ladder, and next thing I know, the house is moving away, and bang, I'm laying on the garage roof with the ladder on top of me, and trying to figure, what am I going to do now? The next thing you know, the window opens up there, and Bernie throws a key out. Swear,
I
yeah.
know, Brensler told me
And
that
never
story. He
said a
goes,
word
did you
about it
remember
the
that? And I
next
said,
day.
no, I don't
Picked
remember.
the key up, went around the front door, and went in. He understood that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would hope so. I mean, he's not a hypocrite.
So, it's the perfect, you show a little ingenuity, you get burned for it, hopefully you learn something, just take the key, right? It's all
Yeah,
wrapped
no, I
up already.
think, I think he knew he had a problem. I know one time they were arguing about, he must have been drinking and this was part of the hangover or something, but they were arguing about money. He wanted money and she paid the bills.
Yeah.
So he wanted to go somewhere, he wanted money. And she said, that's all the money that I have. And the money was laying on the floor. It's probably just $1 bills, but
Yeah.
you know, it was laying on the floor. And we're all standing there. And that was the only fight I ever saw them in. And he said, I said, give me some money. And she said, that's all the money there is. And then he said, I'm just, yeah, I mean, you could tell he had been drinking, because why would anybody say this stuff? And he said, I'm going to California. Like, why does everybody go to California? It's the furthest place away, I guess.
Yeah.
And we're like, me and Gene and Tom are standing there, and we're like, no, Daddy, no, don't go. And he's like, shut up.
Can we go?
Yeah. So then, Mom says, no, I'm going. And we're like, no, don't go, Mommy. And so then Kathy comes down the stairs. She was probably, I don't know, 3 or something. And Mom goes running over to Kathy and she says, no, I can't leave this baby. And I'm like, oh, you can leave us, but you can't leave her.
We're
So-
gonna break it off here.
Yeah.
So then he said, Tom's baseball bat was sitting in the corner and Dad said, I'm gonna take that baseball bat and beat these kids with it. Like, so you knew, you know, and Mom's like,
Right.
get out of the house, run. So we go
Over at
outside.
Shane's house.
Yeah, and well, I was the oldest, so I said, I think we should go over to Shane, because that's where we always went.
Yeah.
And they weren't there, but Honey was there.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so Honey was there, so we went over there, and then she sent Tom over to the grocery store across the street to get some
Six
bread or
packs of
something.
Yeah.
Yeah, and Mom, in the meantime, Dad had went to bed, and Mom's out looking around for us, you know, so she sees spots for Tom, and says, tell the girls to come home, and then when we get in the house, she goes, now I hope you didn't say anything to the Shanes about any argument or anything, you know, it stays in the family.
Yeah.
And I'm like, no, Mommy. And of course, as soon as we walked in the house, I'm like, my mom and dad got a big fight.
Baseball bat and everything.
No, I didn't go into that.